Today's video is a 5-for-1 special because unfortunately right now there's absolutely nothing interesting happening in wrestling and WWE is down the toilet. Welcome back guys to the channel. Normally we like to make videos where we just focus on one topic, but be honest, over the past couple of weeks, wrestling has literally died ever since SummerSlam, and I'm not saying it was alive going into SummerSlam, but you got more important news and you just got stuff happening. I feel like the last couple of weeks there's been barely anything relevant, barely anything interesting going on in the news and in the world of professional wrestling, and we're literally having to pick apart tiny little pieces of articles, just to try and get something to talk about. So, as Cody Rhodes would say, what do you want to talk about? Well, there's nothing really I want to talk about, but we do have five people we're going to talk about today. Those people are not the most interesting, so I do apologise straight up, but we're going to be talking about Ruka, Tiffany Stratton. We're going to be talking about Ilya Dragunov potentially coming back, update on Danhausen's status with AEW and a potential move to WWE, and finally we'll finish it with Ryback. Feed me more. Right, so let's start. Ruka addressed the fact that she's still the Speed Champion and she's still a double champion in WWE. This is what she said to 10 Count Media regarding being a double champ. She said, quote, "I'm definitely still a double champion. I am the Speed Champion and the North American Champion. I know there's a little confusion about what's going on. I honestly don't have an answer either. Until they tell me I'm no longer a double champion, I'm still a double champion. Maybe we'll start doing stuff on NXT with it. I mean, I was starting to wear it on NXT, which was before wasn't allowed because it was a separate universe, being on X. But I think there was a little bit of a leeway, and now we're just trying to figure out what to do with it." End of quote. So, yeah, she's still the Speed Champion for anybody who cares. Says that she used to start wearing it on NXT, and then it wasn't allowed because X and Speed's like a separate universe from Raw and SmackDown and NXT, I guess. But there's some leeway in there now, and they're just figuring out what to do with it. So basically what she's saying is, they don't have a clue what they're doing. The Speed title's not important, and it is irrelevant. Let's just be honest. I don't know why she's got it. And yeah, why would you put the Speed Championship on someone who's already got a title that you want to be important? It's like John Cena, when he wins the 17th World Championship, he would not waste his time competing for the Speed title because he's got the title that matters. And I feel like if you have an important title or a title that you want to pretend is important, you shouldn't even waste your time going after the Speed Championship. So yeah, I don't think she should carry this belt. I don't think she should call herself a double champion. I don't think she should have the Speed Championship. Why not give the Speed Championship to fucking jobbers that literally do not appear on Raw, SmackDown and NXT and just have random people go after the belt? I think that might be better. But we'll see. She claims she's a double champion. Honestly, nobody gives a shit. Right, Tiffany Stratton, she's come out and says that she doesn't really listen to criticism. She stays off social media. That's her support system. That's how she deals with fans that have got bad, negative things to say about her. And yeah, then she went on to say about people that talk about her in a bad way. She said, quote, "And honestly, people talking about me on the internet in a bad way, I think it's kind of silly because I think those people would never be in my position. They would never be the WWE Women's Champion. So why would I take criticism from somebody who I would not switch places with?" End of quote. And you know what? I just think this is one of those generic attempts to trying to downplay criticism that you receive. And you basically just want to be taking any sort of accountability or acknowledge that perhaps you're not as good as you think you are and that maybe your shit does indeed stink. So what you do is you try to eliminate a large portion of people criticizing you. So even if they're valid or not, alright? And there will be some criticisms of Tiffany that are valid and there will be some that aren't valid. But if she can just say that I would never listen or I would never take criticism from people that are not in my position, then all of a sudden that pretty much eliminates every single person in the world. What she's saying is she's only really going to take criticism from people that have been women's champions in WWE. But no one in WWE is going to criticize her because the WWE bubble is we're all one big happy family. None of us have balls, and we can't really say anything negative about other people. So she's only going to take criticism from people who are not going to give her criticism, and that is essentially it. So, I mean, it's like, just because that would be like a millionaire saying, "I'm not going to take any criticism from someone who's not a millionaire." But if a millionaire is doing something bad, and he's doing something immoral, and someone who is not a millionaire calls him out and says, "What you're doing's wrong," as a millionaire, you can't just say, "Well, I'm not going to listen to you because you don't have the amount of money I have." It's got fuck all to do with it. I mean, that's irrelevant at the end of the day. Some criticism is deserved, others ain't. Just because someone isn't in Tiffany Stratton's position doesn't mean that they don't have the right or the option to criticise or think that she's doing a bad job or performing poorly. It's like, I'm sure Tiffany Stratton has watched a movie and she's criticised a movie or a TV series, but she's not an actor, she's not an actress, she's not a movie star, but she's still entitled to criticise a movie. And let's say she spoke to someone that's in. Let's say she spoke to Brad Pitt, and Brad Pitt had like this movie, and she thought that he had an awful scene. Can she not criticise the scene? Can she not say that she didn't like the Brad Pitt scene because she's not in the same position as Brad Pitt? You see how that stuff doesn't work? It's just a way to try and downplay anyone's like negative opinion of you, or to just not accept that you might not be perfect. So it is what it is. I've just never really understood that attitude. If somebody says to us in the comments, "Here, Fog Wrestling, I think you could do this better. I think that maybe if your videos were longer, or if your videos were shorter, or if you didn't swear, or if you swore more." Point is, if somebody in the comments criticised us and gave us like advice or maybe a suggestion, I wouldn't respond and go, "Well, you ain't in my position. You don't upload videos. You don't have an account on YouTube. You don't have 7,000 subscribers." By the way, guys, thanks for the 7K. Shout out to that. But you get my point. If someone criticised us but did it in a respectful manner, I would look at what they're saying and I would actually think, maybe they've got a point. Maybe I can improve this, or I can learn that. But, with a lot of these people that are... And a lot of them do tend to be women because they just seem to be unable to take any sort of accountability in life. But, is what it is. And speaking of women and accountability, I just want to say Naomi should never get another run as champion again. As far as I'm concerned, she's a jobber. Congratulations. I hope you have a nice family. And she should go. Listen, she should go and have a child. 100%. That's what a woman should do, her and Jimmy. I hope maybe they can have a couple of kids. Maybe they can have a loving family. But this is twice now that she's walked out in WWE. And we say it all the time. Trish and Lita both retired at 31. Albeit Lita didn't go on to have a family. She wanted to do her own thing and, be one of those feminist women that has like 20 cats by the time she's 60. She's entitled to do that. But Trish left at 41 and she went on to create her own family. And females' careers just don't last as long. Whether it be from a physical standpoint where their body can't take the toll and wear that a man's can, or whether it's down to the fact that their biology clock is ticking faster, and that if they want to have a family and if they want to have kids, they have to do it at an earlier age. I mean, it is what it is. Like John Cena says he doesn't want kids, okay? John Cena at 48 says he's no intention of kids. But even in 5 years, if John Cena at the age of 53 decides he wants children, he can still do it. He can still go and have kids. He can have a family. For females, it's different. But once you get, I believe, like over 35, your chances are they like get cut in half. So yeah, Naomi's 37. Go have a kid by all means, but should never be in a main event position in WWE when she comes back. And that's not harsh, it's just the truth. I mean, look at the time she spent away from wrestling. She could have been having a kid then. She could have been starting a family then instead of being a fucking jobber in TNA. But whatever. Impact Wrestling, buddy. Apparently, Ilya Dragunov could be returning to WWE television soon. So obviously he was injured. Apparently he was going to be it for 9 months. But Reportedly, he's set to come back. Dave Meltzer has said that Ilya Dragunov is cleared, but WWE is waiting for the right time to bring him back. And Corey Hayes of Bodyslam.net said the following on August 10th in regards to Dragunov's return. He said, quote, "The time draws near. How soon, we'll see. Not expecting it in the next few weeks. His name was brought up this week, so we'll see." End of quote. So we could be getting Ilya Dragunov back. Does anybody want Ilya Dragunov back? Does anybody care about Ilya Dragunov? I certainly do not. Quite frankly, could not give a shit about Ilya Dragunov. How about that? There you go. No offence, but don't care about him. Right, let's talk about Danhausen. So Danhausen's contract is set to expire with AEW well into 2026, but reports are, according to Fightful, that WWE are super interested in having him, and they've got major interest in bringing Danhausen to the company. So we'll see what happens there. According to Fightful, though, it is believed that Danhausen had, quote, requested they not pick up the option and that he was ready to leave the company, end of quote. It is being said that there's no creative plans for him, but he still remains on the official AEW roster page. And what this is, I think, essentially, is just Tony Khan freezing this guy out. Danhausen's a friend of CM Punk's, and I think ever since CM Punk left AEW, I don't even recall Danhausen appearing on AEW TV. I don't think he has. I don't think he's been on any show. And here, is it Danhausen's fault? Is it fair on Danhausen? Probably not. But look at the state of this guy. This guy should not be in AEW or WWE. CM Punk uploaded like a story on his Instagram, and he showed like Danhausen at the side of the road. I think Danhausen just came out of an airport, and Punk put in the caption, you know, that this crazy fan keeps stalking me. But that's what Danhausen genuinely looked like, a fan. Just, you know, some like emo kid standing on the fucking pavement, waiting on a ride, waiting on a taxi. If you've seen someone like, you know, a Foul Phoenix or a Billy Gunn or someone like that standing on the side of the road, you would look at them and you go, holy shit, look at the size of that guy. Who the fuck is he? What is he doing? But you look at Danhausen and you think it's some emo kid that's going to go to the skate park, you know, and cut his wrists. It's not a professional wrestler. It's really not. And lastly, we have Ryback coming out defending Triple H. Now, I think Ryback wants his job in WWE. Ryback wants his job back. That's what I think, because this guy was almost as bad as Bret Hart. For years, he was bitter. But now he's changed his tune. He seems to be like kind towards WWE, says positive things about WWE. And another thing, I don't know if anyone's noticed this, but Ryback is like online, pure like simping out to like these OF models, and he's barking like a dog for them. If you haven't seen it, I don't know, type in like Ryback barking, and like Ryback is literally pretending to be like a little puppy for like these women online. It's fucking weird. But anyway, he responded to people criticising Triple H. He said, quote, "The body shaming in pro wrestling is pathetic. People age, bodies change, and most of the ones talking have not put in the work themselves. Years of ped abuse, filters, and fake images have warped reality for a lot of people. Respect the person, the career, and the journey, not just a body frozen in time." End of quote. So, yeah, Ryback, I mean, this guy has criticised a shitload of people. This guy has talked about... I'm pretty sure he used to bash Triple H and Cena and McMahon. I'm sure he used to bash all those guys for taking steroids. And now he's talking, you know, not talking about peds and all that shit. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see. He's coming out trying to be nice towards Triple H and defend Triple H. Anybody want to see a Ryback return in wrestling? I mean, I personally don't, but I mean, whatever. I mean, I'd take Ryback over Sami Zayn. I 100% would do that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. Not really interested in seeing Ryback come back, but we'll see, I guess. And that's it. Till next time, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and peace.